Facebook executives are promising to crack down on platform abuse after revelations that the data of millions of its users were misused. Meantime, one professor says the company lost sight of a critical element involved in her so-called blue ocean strategy. Now, that is a term she coined with a co-author in a 2005 business bestseller of the same name. Renée Mauborgne has now co-authored a new book which is called Blue Ocean Shift. This talks about how actually to apply the strategy of finding whole new markets, whole new growth opportunities, and not bothering to compete in shark-infested waters. Let's have a listen.
When the first book came out, everyone got excited. Yeah, we're all fighting this new existing market space, this red ocean, but it revealed there's this whole other ocean we can create, the blue ocean. But when it came out, people came around and they started saying, well, you know what? I see myself, I'm in the red ocean, but I'm not Guy Liberté de Cirque du Soleil to create it. I'm not Steve Jobs. And my question is, my organization needs to go to the blue, but I don't know how to get there. What does it take to take these ideas and be able to make a shift if I'm in an ordinary organization that's established or a startup with ordinary people and we're not led by Steve Jobs or Guy Liberté or Elon Musk? And that is the central thesis of Blue Ocean Shift, how to get there.
Tell us two or three of the key methods to do that.
Okay, well, the first thing you find out is if you ask anyone, would you rather compete or create, they'll say create. And if you ask people, what's more important for your success, compete or create, they'll say create. But then you ask people what they do, and they'll say they compete. And you say, well, why the gap? And there's two things. They need a roadmap, step by step, to get there. They have tools to compete, but they don't have tools to create. And in what sequence, in what way? What could go wrong, what could go right? And the second thing is, even with the tools, who's going to execute it? Robots? No, people. And they need the confidence, because whenever you're asking people to shift from what is to what could be, their fear, their vulnerabilities, their anxieties get up. So having a roadmap and building people's confidence to take that journey with you so they own and drive the process. So that's what the book focuses on. People and confidence, how do we build that? And what are the practical steps we melt those people with to make that shift?
Let's get into a couple of companies in the news. Facebook, a fantastically successful franchise, has been stumbling, though, in its relationship with its customers.
Yeah.
How could your techniques help out here?
Well, Facebook is a company that did create a blue ocean. But what you see is the whole element we're finding now, what we call humanness, and that's how you build confidence, is actually being questioned right now. And they seem to have a humanness issue with the data that they have that people haven't trusted them with. That seems to be getting out in ways that customers didn't understand right now. So the confidence of the customer. So there's been some hashtags like leave Facebook or delete Facebook because of that. So our book is addressing why that is so important to never forget the human element of business and strategy and how you can start to rebuild that. Yes.
So people aren't just sets of data that you can harvest.
Yes, and see, you make such a great point there, Andrew. When you talk to, first of all, most business books don't really even talk about people as people. But when they do, we'll say, well, Andrew, he is a newscaster. She is a CFO. He is the head of marketing. We talk about people as though they're their position or their title. And we forget that when we show up for work, like when we show up for anything, we show up as individuals, and we can't forget that. And the book teaches us, reminds us how to humanize our organizations in that way.
What about Uber? A lot of bad publicity over what we heard was a sexist culture that tolerated harassment.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing, the humanness. Now here you see it at play with its own employees, and people are losing confidence in the company because they're actually tripping up on that left and right with the female population. And so you see that when organizations don't address that humanist element, the ability for people to go along and own your strategy, you start to lose that link. And so we spent a lot of time on that with them.
Amazon, a behemoth reinventing industries, are they doing everything right?
So Amazon's a great case because they are a company. Today we talk about the death of retail, and retail blames Amazon. But in many ways, the way the world has changed, we see that retailers make themselves obsolete. Amazon helps because in 30 years, a lot of the retailers have not changed very much. So that's one issue. Amazon is a company committed to creating blue ocean after blue ocean. And people think of it as a behemoth that is, unstoppable. But if you look at Amazon's history, it's also failed a lot of times too. So it tried to go up against Zappos and eventually had to buy them.
The shoe
company.
people, yeah.
Yes. And it tried to create a search engine, but Google won. It tried to go up against Apple iPhone with a Fire phone, had to pull out. And the lesson you learn is that whenever Amazon tried to imitate a company that was creating a blue ocean, like Zappos created a blue ocean, like Apple's iPhone created a blue ocean, like Google with their search engine, they fail. And that the best offense is a blue ocean, and the best defense is often a blue ocean. So recently, Amazon was trying to move into the space that a Canadian company, Shopify, has, creating a platform for small companies to be able to access the world economy. They're doing a fantastic job in what they're doing. Amazon first was trying to move in that space, and then they realized they were doing so well, they actually had to partner with them. And here's a small Canadian company. So people say Amazon can't be touched, but when you start to create a blue ocean, even a big blue ocean player can see that, and they start to do it. So I think that's a really critical lesson there.
Now, obviously, Zuckerberg's Facebook, his famous slogan was "Move fast and break things, disruption, destroying industries." But you think that's a bit simplistic?
We do think it's simplistic. And the reason is, if we look at research over time historically, and we really look at big data of what's happening in industries, there is an element, a large element, half the universe of new markets is about disruption. And disruption means I displace. I create something, a breakthrough solution to an existing problem, and I displace. So the digital camera really displaced film.
So is that blue ocean stuff?
But it is creating a blue ocean, but it's disrupting. But what we found, and where our research focuses more on, is what we call non-disruptive creation. And that is when you create a new market without displacing anyone by solving a brand new problem or seizing a brand new opportunity. So Viagra gets created, whole new market space, doesn't disrupt anyone.
Whole new product category.
Yeah. But you look at microfinance, solving billions of dollars, people to become part of the capital economy, whole new market space, didn't disrupt anyone in finance. Today, the second fastest growing industry for jobs in America, life coaching, didn't exist 25 years ago, but they seized a new opportunity no one else had to say, people need help in their personal and professional lives, let's coach. So for us, the excitement is to realize, as long as we only focus on disruption, we leave half the opportunities for growth off the table of a company, and we should think in terms of non-disruptive creation. And Andrew, just for those established companies out there, the beauty of that is many established companies know they need to shift, but when they think they have to disrupt their current business model and maybe let some people go have creative disruption, even though they know, they hold themselves back. But if they know they can do non-disruptive creation, that is often more politically and emotionally acceptable in an organization. And for the small guy, I don't have to go against Goliath. I can go into a space where I don't have to take on a competitor. So our second book, Blue Ocean Shift, really goes into how can we move into not only disruption, but non-disruptive creation. And this is where a lot of jobs are in growth. So we're excited about it.